more their actions are beset by doubts and arrière-pensée. The more man thinks, the slower he moves. Thought uncovers the limitations of his plans. Exploring the possibilities, he sees yet more potential outcomes, a greater number of problems, and he increasingly recognizes how little he actually knows. If he keeps thinking long and hard enough, he is practically paralyzed, a person of action no more. Will the stock market rise? I don't know, replies the thinking fund manager. Can we win the war? It depends on what you mean by win, answers the thoughtful general. This book has been written in a spirit of runaway modesty. The more we think, the more we realize how little we know. In fact, it's a good thing that the book came to an end when it did, or we would know nothing at all, or less than nothing. We are, frankly, in far too much awe of the world and too deeply entertained by it to think that we can understand it today or foretell tomorrow. Life's most attractive components, love and money, are far too complex for reliable soothsaying. Still, we can't resist taking a guess. We may not know how the world works, but we are immodest enough to think we can know how it does not work. The stock market is not, for example, a simple mechanism like an ATM machine, where you merely tap in the right numbers to get cash out when you need to. Instead, the investment markets, like life itself, are always complicated, often perverse, and occasionally absurd. But that doesn't mean they are completely random. Though unexpected, life's surprises may not always be undeserved. Delusions have consequences, and sooner or later the reckoning day comes and the bills must be paid. In this sense, the investment markets are not mechanistic at all, but judgmental. As we will see, they reward virtue and punish sin. Our approach in this book is a little different from that of the typical economics tome or investment advisory. Instead, it's an exercise in what is known derisively as literary economics. Although you will find statistics and facts, the metaphors and the principles that we provide are more important. Facts have a way of yielding to nuance like a jury to a trial lawyer. Under the right influence, they will go along with anything. But the metaphors remain and continue to give useful service long after the facts have changed. What's more, metaphors can help people understand the world and its workings. As Norman Mailer recently put it, there is much more truth in a metaphor than in a fact. But the trouble with metaphors is that no matter how true they may have been when they are fresh and clever, when the multitudes pick them up, they almost immediately become worn out and false. For the whole truth is always complex to the point of being unknowable, even to the world's greatest geniuses. The world never works the way people think it does. That is not to say that every idea about how the world works is wrong, but that often particular ideas about how it works will prove to be wrong if they're held in common. For only simple ideas can be held by large groups of people. Commonly held ideas are almost always dumbed down until they're practically lies, and often dangerous ones. Once vast numbers of people have come to believe the lie, they adjust their own behavior to bring themselves into sync with it, and thereby change the world itself. The world, then, no longer resembles the one that gave rise to the original insight. Soon, a person's situation is so at odds with the world as it really is that a crisis develops, and he or she must seek a new metaphor for explanation and guidance. Thus, the authors of the present work cannot help but notice an insidious and entertaining dynamic, a dialectic of the heart, where greed and fear, confidence and desperation confront each other with the subtle elegance of women mud wrestlers. In the financial markets, this pattern is well known and frequently described. In the late 1990s, those who were sure that stocks would always go up